Chris Chan for CoachingPop.com, and here's something a little bit weird. It's A Life Worth Dying For on iOS. It's a game that I'm really going to have to explain before I start playing it, because if I don't hear exactly what's going on, I'm going to screw up, and then it'll think that I've got dementia or something. This is a game which is about, maybe we can just see the opening, that'd be the easiest way to explain. It's a game where you're a guy in a suit falling presumably out of a plane to his death, and his life's flashing before his eyes, except that
your whole life flashes before your eyes. But what if it doesn't?
he can't remember.
What if you can't remember anything at all?
Yeah, so it's a little bit weird. The idea of the game is that you're supposed to arrange this guy's memories so that his life flashes before his eyes before, he actually, he cops it. So the way, what this actually is like a sort of memory game or a memory experiment that's called, I believe, an N+2 game, where, it's sort of explaining it on the screen right now. You're supposed to listen and remember 2 steps back. It's like the old Two Ronnies sketch where, his mastermind subject is the question that's happening next, or the question that happened before. This has crashed, so I'm going to have to start the app again. Ooh. Sorry about that, chums. You're supposed to think 2 steps back, and then when your brain figures out, oh, I heard that 2 steps ago, then you either touch the right-hand side of the screen for something that matches an audible cue, the left for a visual cue, or, later on it'll go into both together. So let's do an auditory round so that you guys can kind of understand what it is. But I'm going to shut up here because otherwise it gets really difficult. This is a little guided round before, so it'll tell you what to do. So you're supposed to hold down the screen there. And then every time you get something right, you get a little snatch of audio, and for some reason he coughs. I don't understand why, but so you get a little audio clip, and there's video clips as well. This is actually from the developer's own personal collection of home videos. So that's the idea here. Everything's sort of taken from his own memories. The issue I have with it is that the audio clips and the video clips, and they're both together, they repeat so often that you'll see about the same clip about 5 or 6 times. There's no consistent narrative to this game, which is a little bit of a shame. I could have thought they could have fleshed out this character that's falling from a plane. But anyway, here we go. Right, shut up. Here we go. Let's do it.
Energetic. Benevolent. Energetic.
Right, said energetic twice there.
Benevolent.
Oh, I'm benevolent. On fire.
Moody. Stressed. Moody.
Thursday's purple day.
A little bit. Sensible. Witty. Stressed.
Yeah, I did it, and I got my 3 points for remembering that correctly. The further you go, the more the more times you play, the more difficult it gets, and the more sort of experience you get, and then you unlock different game modes, by leveling up, and you also get a little bit of information about Alzheimer's, because this is inspired by a kind of a fear, is the way he explains it, of Alzheimer's and what would happen. So the idea is there is a scientific basis to this, is that by doing this N+2 exercise, and by regularly, training your brain, then you will, in theory, be able to stave this off and actually become smarter. So it's kind of weird. Obviously, the presentation isn't that great. I mean, the character falling from the sky looks odd, and you'll see the videos in just a second and kind of how chunky they are. But it's actually quite addictive, and it really does stretch the brain. And I was like going into this thinking, oh, I'm really not going to like it at all. And then, oh no, actually, I do quite enjoy this. So I'm going to go with Dual here. This is where you've got to mix video and audio at the same time. So this requires absolute concentration.
Loving, practical, empowered, friendly, empowered.
That's audio.
Friendly.
That's both together.
I Googled it. It's a long time, right?
Instinctive.
I think that was a video one.
Secure. Loving. Secure. Loving.
Oh, I got one wrong.
Instinctive.
I think it was,
Strong. Friendly.
video.
Strong.
I think it was that both. Yeah.
Secure. Instinctive.
Was it? No,
Practical.
that was a video one.
Loving.
I missed one there as well.
Practical.
There we go. That wasn't a great round at all. I remembered it beautifully, apparently. You can feel it really does help, and doing this on video is not the best way of doing it. It's just my focus is slightly divided. Actually requires 100% of your concentration the whole time, and you do get into a sense of flow, I think. Where you're concentrating really hard and you start doing really, really well, and then you start thinking about how really, really well you're doing, and then you start to fail a little bit. So like what I'm doing is constantly holding my thumb above the screen, both my thumbs, and then going, okay, instinctive here, and then loving here, and then blah, 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 and then ditching one sort of item, one step in my memory, and then going back. There's a really good process to this. It actually makes for a pretty fun and addictive game. It's not original. Obviously, this is based on an actual scientific practice or whatever, and kind of wrapped in a package that's not great. I don't think it's presented too well, and I'd have liked, as I said, I'd have liked to have had this fictional character with an actual story, acted out, that I was piecing together his actual memories. Whereas here it just feels kind of random. So that's a little bit of a shame, but it is still a lot more interesting than I was willing to give it credit for at the start, and it's worth checking out. It's a little bit pricey, I think, for what it is. It's $3, 300 yen on the App Store, which I would be completely fine with if some of this was going to Alzheimer's charities or what have you. But that's not the case. I'd be willing to give a little bit more if it was going to the relevant cause. But it's a little bit of awareness, and it's actually a really interesting little memory exercise. So it might be worth checking out. It was a pleasant surprise for me. So yeah, A Life Worth Dying For. It's on the App Store right now. Chris Chan for KaijuPop.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.